The Tampa Bay Buccaneers may have escaped Week 13 with a narrow 2017 victory over the struggling Arizona Cardinals, but anyone who watched the game knows the final score does not tell the full story. The Bucs walked away with a win, technically, yet almost nothing about Tampa Bay's performance, particularly in the second half, resembled that of a confident, playoff-caliber team finally reclaiming momentum. Instead, their offense sputtered, their quarterback panicked, and their overall execution raised more concerns than reassurance. For Baker Mayfield, the second half was a nightmare reel of misfires, wobbling passes, and stalled drives. The Bucs' offense looked hesitant, predictable, and completely devoid of rhythm. Tampa Bay fans have seen Mayfield play with fire, grit, and short bursts of brilliance, but what he displayed against Arizona was the opposite. Conservative throws, zero aggression, and a complete inability to stretch the field or make defenses respect his arm. And while a win is a win in the NFL, this one felt more like an indictment of Tampa Bay's diminishing ceiling than a marker of progress. But the real blow to the Buccaneers wasn't what happened in their own game. It was what happened in Charlotte, where the rising Carolina Panthers delivered one of the most shocking and impressive victories of the season. The Panthers, a young team widely expected to be in a rebuilding year, won a high-scoring 31-28 shootout against the Los Angeles Rams, a legitimate NFC Super Bowl contender. Even more stunning was the quarterback duel. Bryce Young didn't just compete against Matthew Stafford, a former Super Bowl champion and the leading MVP candidate. He outplayed him. Where Mayfield looked shaky and uncertain, Bryce Young played with poise, precision, and a quiet confidence that electrified the Panthers fan base and NFL analysts alike. Young shredded the Rams' defense, made big throws under pressure, and operated Dave Canales' offense with the kind of maturity that suggests he is not only growing, he is becoming dangerous. A quarterback once criticized for size concerns and inconsistency now appears to be unlocking his potential under a coaching staff that actually believes in him, schemes for him, and plays to his strengths. Comparisons between Young and Mayfield may not be entirely fair on paper, but the contrast is impossible to ignore in real-time evaluation. Young looked like the future of the NFC. Mayfield looked like a stopgap. And that parallel becomes even more damning when viewed through the lens of each team's recent matchup with the Los Angeles Rams. Just 1 week earlier, the Buccaneers faced the Rams on Sunday Night Football, a game where Tampa Bay had hoped to prove they were worthy of their preseason Super Bowl hype. Instead, they were utterly humiliated in a 34-7 blowout. Stafford carved up Bowles' defense with surgical efficiency. The Rams looked faster, smarter, tougher, and more prepared in every possible way. Tampa Bay didn't just lose, they looked like they didn't belong on the same field. Fast forward 1 week later, and the Panthers, a team with fewer stars, less experience, and lower preseason expectations, battled the same Rams team and emerged victorious. Not by luck, not by chaos, not because the Rams faltered. They won by out-executing, out-scheming, and outplaying one of the best teams in the conference. This juxtaposition, the Bucs being dismantled by the Rams and the Panthers defeating them, places a massive spotlight on Todd Bowles, and not a flattering one. Canales coached with clarity, aggression, and creativity. Canales had the perfect plan for Sean McVay's high-pressure defensive schemes. He moved Bryce Young out of the pocket, used quick reads, incorporated layered route concepts, and created mismatches. And defensively, the Panthers forced Stafford into 2 interceptions, something Tampa Bay could not even approach, despite claiming to be a defensive-minded team under Bowles. The Panthers showcased adaptability and intelligence. The Bucs showcased hesitation and predictable play calling. This is where the narrative becomes deeply uncomfortable for Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers spent months hyping themselves up as Super Bowl contenders. Their roster, on paper, is filled with stars: Evan Andrews, Chris Godwin, Vita Vea, Levante David, but on the field, when facing elite opponents, the kind of teams they would have to beat in January, the Bucs have repeatedly wilted. They failed against the Bills. They failed against the Patriots. They failed against the Eagles, and they were obliterated by the Rams. Bowles simply cannot get this team to perform above their weight class. He cannot coach them into gritty, upset victories. He cannot design game plans that surprise opponents or compensate for weaknesses. And as the season drags on, fatigue among fans is turning into full-on frustration. Tampa Bay is not only losing big games, they're losing them the same way every time. It's bad, and it's getting worse. Defensively, they're passive. Offensively, they are predictable. Special teams have been inconsistent, and the overall identity of the team, once rooted in resilience and swagger, has evaporated under Bowles' leadership. Meanwhile, the Panthers, with far less talent and far fewer expectations, have demonstrated that great teams can be beaten with the right strategy. They didn't have more superstars than the Rams, they simply had a better plan and executed it with confidence. And that is something Tampa Bay has not shown all season. In Tampa Bay, pressure is building. Fans are tired of excuses, tired of conservatism, tired of blown opportunities, tired of watching their team shrink in big moments. The Bucs may have beaten Arizona, but beating one of the worst teams in the football does not erase the reality that Bowles may not be the right man to lead Tampa Bay forward. As the season moves deeper into December, the Buccaneers must find answers, and fast. Because the Panthers, once dismissed as a rebuilding team, now appear poised to challenge the division's power structure. And with each passing week, the Bucs look more like a team trapped in old habits, while Carolina looks like a team building towards something new, something dangerous, something real. If Bowles cannot adapt, cannot evolve, and cannot inject life into this fading roster, then his days in Tampa may be numbered, because Carolina just proved exactly what Tampa Bay has been missing: coaching with direction.